Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Sure doesn't seem like Christmas weather, does it? But today we have kind of an unusual service. We are the Namaqua Unitarian Universalist congregation, and something that is true every Sunday and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is that we are a Unitarian Universalist congregation. We are a people of open minds, loving hearts, helping hands, and we have feet that walk our talk. So I wonder if we have any visitors here today. I see a few people who have come back, and Miriam, and anyone who is new, you want to raise your hand and say your name, and we will give you a special welcome. So let's have you, Miriam, and then Leo. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Meg.
I mean, Meg. This is Miriam up here. From Longmont, all the way from Longmont. Well, let's give you a special welcome. We hope perhaps you might find a spiritual home here of like-minded people. And Leo?
Yes, I was here last week as well, and I'm back.
And Leo is now in our choir that will be singing on Christmas Eve. So welcome, Leo. And then in the front row here, we have.
David, visiting from Timnath.
From where? Oh, Timnath? Okay, yeah. And Miriam here for a second time or third time? Okay, well, let's still give you a welcome. And do we have anybody else? Back in the back there, we have Thane. So Thane is the husband of one of our new members, Catherine Stacy, who is ushering today. And so Thane, welcome to you. Oh, you want to ring the bell. Okay, well, let's see if we have any other newcomers. Anybody else? Yeah. Who are you?
I'm Rachel. My mom shared.
Well, great. So glad you could be with us. Welcome to Rachel. Anybody upstairs? Okay, Pete, why don't we tell the neighborhood that we're here? And we do have some people who are not physically here, but on Zoom. And so I want to welcome all of you. And we will do our best to be inclusive because this is our third hybrid service. You know, we had the hiatus because of the pandemic. I'm not wearing a mask because I'm speaking, but the rest of you, thank you for wearing your masks. Also, if you have cell phones, if you could make sure to silence them, that would be good. You know, I actually have a lot of thank yous as well. We have a very devoted hybrid team of Dawn and Sarah Suriani and Bill Rosequist who have been working for months. We are still a work in progress, so please be tolerant when we have some glitches, but let us thank again profusely for all your work. And because of our hybrid services, each Sunday we also need what we call a Zoomer. And so today making her debut is another new member, Doris Arco. So thank you, Doris, for Zooming. By the way, we do need Zoomers for our Christmas Eve service. If we don't have one, we'll have to just have the service only in person. So fingers crossed we'll be able to get somebody. We have a 4 o'clock and a 7 o'clock service on this Friday for Christmas Eve. I also want to thank those who helped us decorate. For those of you who were here last week, do you notice any difference this week? We not only have the tree, but it is decorated, and we've got some wreaths hanging back there and here and on the doors. And so your decorations team, Sue Matthews, who had a lot of energy, and Karen Brock, and Kathy Hartman, and Francie Liefert, and Alice Kane is the one who's done the decorations on the windows. So let's give a round of applause for them as well. And our ushers today are Sue Matthews, Loretta Hogue, and Catherine Stacy. So thank you in advance for receiving our collection later in the service today. As long as we're clapping, we might as well say thank you again. So I hope what that communicates is that it really does take all of us to keep the wheels turning. And one of the things is that if you start becoming one of the lay leaders and joining one of our ministries, you have even more close of a connection with this community. So maybe after the holidays, are you giggling because I'm making an advertisement?
Because I'm saying fun.
Fun. Oh, it's really fun. And by the way, if you notice our garb today, we are wearing goddess dresses. So mine is from Francie and I are members of a sacred, what's called Mother Heart Circle. We've been meeting for 30 years, every other week, doing ritual. And then by coincidence, Jean Bolton, who is one of our charter members and who has since passed away, Kathy has inherited her goddess gown. So that reminds me that this is a very different kind of service today. What we are doing today is preparing for the longest night. Next Tuesday is the Winter Solstice. And so the heart of our service today is you taking those pieces of paper that you were given when you came in and writing your wishes for the coming year, and we'll attach it to that wreath. And then the wreath will be burned on Winter Solstice, which is Tuesday at 5:30 at Kathy's house. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later. You know, all of us are basically on stolen land. And so to honor the indigenous people who were here before us, I want to lift up the Ute and the Cheyenne and the Arapaho as nations who were here before us. And so with every step, we step on sacred ground. So let's just take a moment to acknowledge that reality. And one of the unique things about Unitarian Universalism is that we have 6 different sources. So the living tradition that we share has as its 6th source the spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions, which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. And so that is what this service today is devoted to. We also at Namaqua have a tradition every December of not only setting up a beautiful tree, but also putting gifts under it. And so in your order of service, there are lyrics to a song that is sung to the tune of O Tannenbaum, O Christmas Tree. And so this year, what we are doing is collecting mostly socks for the homeless shelters of Larimer County. Socks are super important for people who don't have a home. And so we will sing, and if you'd like, you can stand. And we will sing O Christmas Tree, and any of you who brought either money or socks or whatever to donate to the homeless shelter, please come forward as we sing. Let's see. Oh, giving tree, oh, giving tree, was fighting. Oh, giving tree, oh, giving tree, the winter wind is fighting against the cold. More gifts we bring to deck your branches as we sing. Oh, giving tree, the winter wind is fighting. Oh, oh, giving tree, the winter wind is fighting. Oh, giving tree, the winter wind is fighting. Happy and love and goodness shine as you stay green through winter snow. Oh, giving tree, help us to help each other. Oh, giving tree, help us to help each other. You may be seated, and thank you so much.
And now,
One of the things that we celebrate is that we have our very first music director, Ryan Marvel, but he's going to have a Sunday off each month. And so Ryan isn't here to play piano, which is why you're stuck with me on the guitar. Also, we have a new ministerial intern. Well, he's been here since May, but that's Claire Hamor, and he is also not here today. I told him to sleep in, but he's already texted me like 2 hours ago. But anyway, so they're not here in body, but they are here in spirit.
and now please join me in reciting our congregational affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Some of these words I attribute to Mim Neal, who is someone who participated the last time we did this in person. So we did not do this in person in 2020. And it's so good now that we do get to decorate our Yule wheel together. So, you know, our ancestors knew the patterns of the moon and the stars and the sun. And they knew that this time of year in the Northern Hemisphere, there would be a long, long, dark night. And the longest night of the year is coming up this next Tuesday, the Winter Solstice. And then the next morning, starting on Wednesday, the sun will rise again. And then every day after that, it will be a little bit longer light until it crescendos to sometime in the middle of June, where we will celebrate the summer solstice. That will be the longest day of the year. And so this is the rhythm that we are engaging in with intention today. The ancients understood that time was not linear, time is circular. It follows the cycles of the changing season, and as each season rose, flourished, and then diminished, it would give way to the next season. And so in a time of long darkness, when the great wheel of life turns to the shortest night of the year, to encourage the return of the light, because the ancients didn't think that you could necessarily assume that the sun would come back again. They would build bonfires on the sides of hills, and they would pray and feast and decorate their homes, and they would exchange gifts to honor the life-giving returning light. And so here at Namakwa, we do the same. Like our ancestors, we feel compelled to encourage the return of the light. So there is no question that is dark these days. It's dark both physically, but there's also darkness in other senses around our country, around our world. And so today we're going to do our best to lighten things up. We'll decorate our Yule wheel, our wreath, with our wishes and intentions for the new year. But before we do that, we will create a sacred circle, acknowledging the holy by invoking the spirits that surround us all the time, in all different directions. And so we will borrow this practice of calling the directions from the Native Americans and pagans and others who honor nature and its rhythm to grant healing and wholeness. So I would like to invite you all, if you're willing and able, to stand. Again, facing the east. spirits of the east, the sun rising at dawn, the season of spring, life surging forth in buds, blossoms, and sprouts. Eagle spirit, bless the air that is our breath and the birth of each new day. Give us vision and the hope of new beginnings. Powers of the east be with us. Hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
And now turn to your right and we will face south.
Hail, spirits of the south, the high noonday sun, the season of summer, with the sun strong and hot as we take shade under the leafy canopy of trees. Coyote spirit, bless the fire in our belly, the passion and laughter of life. Give us generosity and determination. Powers of the south, be with us. Hail and welcome. Hail and welcome.
And now turn to your right to face west. Hail, spirits of the west, the setting sun and the rising moon, the season of autumn, the time of harvest, when the leaves of trees transform from green into gold, orange, and red. Bear spirit, bless the water that is our blood, sweat, and tears. Bless the gift of our emotions. Give us dreams and transformation. Powers of the West, be with us. Hail and welcome. Hail and welcome. And now turn to the right and we'll face north.
Hail, spirits of the north, the starry sky at midnight, the season of winter, a time of darkness and cold, flocks of birds flying south, trees standing stripped and naked, buffalo spirit. Bless the earth that is our body. Give us strength and endurance. Powers of the north, be with us. Hail and welcome. Hail and welcome.
And now we'll face the center. Hail, spirits of the center. Powers above, Father Sky, and powers below, Mother Earth. Our ancestors, those who have gone before us, and our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, those who will come after us. Bless the 7 generations and the journey of our lives. Powers of the center, be with us. Hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
The circle is cast, and we are between the worlds. And what happens between the world changes the world. So please now remain standing, and we will do a chant. The words are in your order of service. We are a circle within a circle. Carl? We are a circle within a circle, with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle, with no beginning and never ending. You hear us sing, you hear us cry. Now hear us call you, spirits of air and sky. We are a circle within a circle, with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle, with no beginning and never ending. Inside our hearts, there glows a spark, love and desire, a burning fire. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. Within our blood, within our tears, there lies the altar of living water. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. Take our fear, take our pain, take the darkness into the earth again. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. The circle closes between the worlds to mark the sacred place where we come face to face. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. Thank you. Be seated. Circle round and we will tell you a story about when the sun was born again. It was the middle of winter and the sun had grown very old. All year long, the sun had worked very hard, rising and setting day after day. All year long, the sun had fed everybody on earth, shining and shining, giving energy to the trees and the flowers and the grasses so they could grow and feed the animals and birds and insects and people. All year, the sun's gravity held tight to the spinning ball of the earth and the twirling ball of the moon and the other whirling planets as they traveled around and around and around until the poor sun was dizzy watching it all. Now the poor tired sun could barely make it up in the morning, and after a very short time needed to sleep again. So the days grew shorter and the nights grew longer until the day was so short it was hardly worth getting up for. I felt sorry for the sun. Come to my arms and rest, child, she said. After all, I'm your mother. You were born out of my darkness billions of years ago, and you will return to me when all things end. Let me cradle you now as I shelter every galaxy and star in the universe. So night wrapped her great arms around the sun, and the night was very long indeed. Why does the dark go on so long? Asked children all over the earth. Won't the sun ever come back again? The sun is very tired, the old one said. But maybe if you children thank the sun for all the things it does for us, the light may return in the morning. And so the children sang songs to the sun, and they thought about all the things the sun gave them. So do you have any ideas of what the children might have thanked them for? Call it out. Shout out. Come on.
Flowers.
Flowers.
Candy.
Candy, fruit.
Warmth.
Warm.
Light.
Light.
Compassion.
What? Tan? What? Food? Water. the cycles of water
Color.
and color. So lots of gifts, lots of gifts.
Thank you for growing the lettuces and the corn and the rice and the wheat, they said. Thank you for growing the trees of the forests and the seaweed in the oceans and the krill that feeds the whales. Thank you for stirring the air and making winds that bring the rain. Every time a child said thank you, the sun began to feel a little warmer, a little brighter. Wrapped safely in the arms of night, the sun grew younger and younger. At last, the children had to go to bed. We will stay up and wait for the sun to rise again, the old one said. Can't we stay up too, the children asked. You can try, but you will get too sleepy, the old one said. But you can each light a candle because all fire is a spark of the sun's fire. Put your candle in a very safe place and let it keep vigil for you as you sleep and dream of sunrise. So the children lit their candles and put them in very safe places. And each flame was a little spark of the sun's fire. And the sun peeped out from between the arms of night and saw all the little fires and began to feel warmer and brighter and younger still. Early in the morning, the old ones woke the children. Together they climbed a high hill and faced to the east, the direction of sunrise. They sang songs to the sun and ran around trying to keep warm. They waited and waited to see what dawn would bring. The sky began to turn from black to indigo to blue. Slowly, the sky grew light. A golden glow crept over the horizon. Night opened her great arms, and in a burst of brightness, the sun appeared, new and strong and shining. For in the long night, the sun had rested well and grown young from the songs and thanks of the children, young as a brand new baby born out of night once more. Everyone cheered and the children jumped up and down. The sun has returned. The sun is reborn, the people cried, and they danced and sang to celebrate the birth of a new day, and then went home to breakfast.
Would you please rise again?
The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Hey, 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 oh, 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 oh. Hey, 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 oh, oh. Our sacred ground we walk upon with every step we take. Our sacred ground we walk upon with every step we take. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Hey, 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 oh, 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 oh. Hey, 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 oh, oh, oh. Earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Hey, 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 oh, 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 oh. Hey, 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 oh, 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 oh. Earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Hey, hey, hey. Thanks. Every Sunday, even on unusual ones like today, we still make time and place to share our joys and sorrows. So one thing I will ask is whether anyone happens to have a birthday or anniversary around now. And if so, if you want to raise your hand, and we will give you a special treat. Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Today's our son Marcus's birthday. He's 35.
Marcus Liefert turns 35. And so Marcus is another Unitarian minister, so he's in Northern California, but we won't say it too loud because it's got to go over 2 mountain ranges. But let's say happy birthday to Marcus. Happy birthday, Marcus. 35 years old, so 35 years ago. Kathy Hartman.
My sister, baby sister, turned 65 on the winter solstice.
Whoa.
Marcia. And that she's in Nebraska, so we can shout it to the.
Okay, we'll face Nebraska. Happy birthday, Marcia. Any other birthdays or anniversaries? How about personal joys or personal sorrows? If so, why don't you either stand up or shout out? And what I'll do is repeat it so that the people on Zoom will be able to hear. So does anyone have something that you would like to share with our community? Andrea.
I wanted to thank Jan for partnering up with us. We had a delightful release group last Wednesday, and we all came home with a wonderful new book to read, and it was just delightful. On the worrisome side, the next day, my son-in-law was in a not a horrible car accident, but serious enough to crush his car and break his hand. I went dashing up in the evening to sort of help things, and anyway, it was stressful, but he's okay. He's fine car, but the main thing is that he's okay. So I'm very grateful for that.
So Andrea Venice shares both the joy, which is that Andrea and Janet Wright put together a celebration for the women's group at Nemoco last Wednesday. It included a book exchange, and so people left with books. And Andrea also shared a sorrow, which is that her son-in-law was in an accident. Fortunately, he seems okay, he just needs a new car now. So what we do now, in order to acknowledge each person's joy and sorrow, is we say, we hear you, we hold you, and we care for you. I saw Kim.
Well, it's really fun the other night. Both gals. I retired from work last weekend. So.
So Kim Skylander hasn't been with us for a while because she was working at Colorado State University, but her joy was that she participated in the Women's Circle this last Wednesday. And also the great news is that she has retired. And so congratulations, Kim. We hear you, we hold you, we care for you. Welcome back. Anybody else? Catherine? Right, so this is you or Thane? Okay. Well, I thought that would be a joy. So Catherine Stacy, this is the first time that she's been back in our sanctuary since 2018. And she has to have her husband tag along with her today. That's another joy. So Catherine and Thane too, we hear you, we hold you, and we care for you. And do we have any people on Zoom? Okay, so if anyone who is watching us virtually would like to share a joy or sorrow, put it in the chat and we'll say it out loud and acknowledge your joy or sorrow. Well, we know that there are other joys or sorrows that may feel too tender, or maybe you feel too shy to say them out loud. And so let's do one more time for all of those. We hear you, we hold you, and we care for you. And Karen Brock.
Well, this is just in from Tracy Jones. She says, I turned in my dissertation.
Wow. Tracy Jones. Woo-hoo! Congratulations, Tracy Jones turned in her dissertation. A big hoop to jump through. Any others? And so let's also do it one more time, because we know that certainly beyond these walls and beyond the people who are in our community on Zoom today, there are many, many joys, and there is also a tremendous amount of suffering. And so let's one more time with intention. We hear you, we hold you, and we care for you. Our tradition before we went on Zoom for quite a while was after Joys and Sorrows to sing a song. It's in your hymnal, but I think many of you know it. It's number 1002 in the Teal hymnal. Comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul.
Our Namaqua community is a very giving and generous congregation. So in addition to the giving tree, which we just do during the holiday season, we do a half plate contribution. So every quarter, we collect donations in our collection plate, and 1/2 of that collection goes to a nonprofit that is chosen by the congregation. This quarter, September through December, is the food bank for Larimer County. And you can imagine the stresses and strains on that agency. So we will be looking forward to giving them a nice contribution. So if the ushers could come forward, please.
And while we receive the offering, we'll sing together from, again, the Teal hymnal, number 1011, Return Again. We'll sing it through once in unison, and then we'll divide the congregation into 2 parts and sing it as a round. So thank you to Janet Gillette. Return again. Return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. No. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul. That was beautiful. Ushers, come on forward. If you'll repeat after me, we'll bless our offering. We dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings.
We dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings,
To the vision of this congregation,
to the vision of this congregation,
which is to radiate love, peace, and justice.
which is to radiate love, peace, and justice.
As together we work to grow beloved community.
As together we work to grow a beloved community.
Thank you. Thank you for your generosity. So we are a few days away now from the longest night of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. So the winter solstice celebrates the sacred circle of life. And through our earth-centered ritual, we're guided to live in harmony with nature's own rhythms. And so to prepare for the longest night, this congregation has the tradition to burn the Yule wreath. And so Sue, if you want to come up, and we'll put it down on the floor. And so each of you were given a slip of paper when you came in, as well as a pencil. And if you don't have one, maybe share with your neighbor. And on the slip of paper, write down a few words that express either something that you would like to let go of as you begin a new year, or your wishes or intentions for the year that is starting on Wednesday when the sun is returning. And so roll it into a scroll after you write on it, and you can tie it with a string or ribbon. And then while the music is playing, you can come up and attach your wreath. Attach your slip of paper to the wreath, or you can just put it down next to it. And if you want somebody to come get it from you, just raise your hand and Kathy will come get your slip of paper. And for those of you who are on Zoom, if you want to come early on Tuesday night to Kathy's at 5:15, we'll have paper and some ribbons available then. Or if you aren't going to make it to the winter solstice, you can email me and I will write your message on a piece of paper and take it to Kathy's. And then what we do with the wreath is that we're going to build a big bonfire in a safe way in Kathy's backyard. With drumming and chanting, we will burn the wreath that will also burn your messages and send them up with the smoke into the night sky. So come on up. You got it. There it is.
Nice to see you again, Leo.
Fine motor skills. Glad you're feeling better. I heard. Hmm. As we prepare for the longest night of the year, let us find comfort in remembering that it is a pregnant darkness, a womb of darkness, a laboring darkness that will give birth to the returning light.
In the heart of every person on this earth burns the spark of luminous goodness. May we who celebrate this winter solstice by our lives and our service, by our prayers and our love, call forth from and for one another the light and the love that lives in every heart.
May we listen to the wisdom of our bodies. In this season, may we allow ourselves to slow down and to experience the gifts of darkness. The winter solstice promises new dreams, new hope, and new light. Blessings on this wreath as a symbol of that promise. When we gather on the night of the solstice, together we will witness the transforming power of fire as the smoke carries our hopes and dreams into the sky. And so now, if you'll please rise again, and we will open the circle, take the directions. We'll begin with the center. Powers of the center, powers above, powers below. We thank those who have come before us and give our blessing to those who will come after us. Thank you for your gifts of abundance and wisdom. We release you. Hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell. Powers of the north, Buffalo Spirit, thank you for your gifts of strength and endurance. We release you. Hail and farewell. Hail and farewell.
Powers of the West, fair spirit, thank you for your gifts of dreams and transformation. We release you. Hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell. Powers of the South, coyote spirit, thank you for your gifts of passion and laughter. We release you. Hail and farewell. Hail and farewell.
Powers of the East. Eagle spirit, thank you for your gifts of hope and vision. We release you.
Hail and farewell. Hail and farewell.
Now the circle is open. Let them roll. Very neat. Very hearts. And
Merry meet again.
And before we do our closing song, just a reminder of what's coming up. So at 5:30 at Kathy Hartman's house, which is just right around the corner on 6th Street. And there will be an announcement that goes out with the address. We will gather. Typically, we would have a potluck, but because of COVID, we are not gathering indoors, but we will gather outdoors and we will burn this wreath and send the wishes into the night sky. And then on Thursday night, our hearty little choir will gather for our final choir rehearsal before Christmas Eve with our new music director, Ryan Marvel. And then on Friday, we'll have 2 services. One, Janin Wright, our Director of Religious Education. What's it called again? Something about joy? Bring on the joy. So that will be a family service. And then at 7, we'll gather again to sing a lot of carols. So that will be at 7 o'clock, gladden our hearts with song. And then actually Francie and I are flying back to California, where I will be for a couple of weeks, but Janet Gillette is doing our service on the 26th. And first time ever, we're going to actually not have a service on January 2nd. So you can party hardy. You'll have a couple of days to recover. And then very special on the following, I guess it will be the 9th, we're going to have our annual decade service where we have people from different decades, maybe all the way from below 10 up to at least 80, maybe 90. Mim Neal is going to be our 80s representative this year. And so they are going to answer the question in Mary Oliver's poem. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? And it is really a beautiful service. So I hope to see many of you on the solstice. And then aren't we going to be happy that days are once again going to get longer? And so I, for the first time, am going to sing our UU blessing song. And so I don't know whether we should hold hands or not, but why don't you do the center circle? And this is a call and response. This is Unitarian Universalism in a nutshell. So it's a blessing you were born.
It's a blessing I was born.
And it matters what you do.
And it matters what I do.
What you know about God.
What I know about God
Is a piece of the truth.
is a piece of the truth.
Let the beauty you love.
Let the beauty I love
Be what you do.
be what I do.
And you don't have to do it alone.
And I don't have to do it alone.
It's a blessing we were born.
It's a blessing we were born.
And it matters what we do.
And it matters what we do.
What we know about God is a piece of the truth. Let the beauty we love be what we do. And we don't have to do it alone. We don't have to do it alone. We don't have to do it alone. And we don't have to do it alone. Cha-cha-cha. Okay, so thank you, everyone. And we aren't going to have coffee hour until it gets a little bit warmer and we can gather inside. So feel free to chat with one another outdoors. And Hope to see you again a few more times before